All right, so today we have two-way tables, and this is a different way to look at two pieces of data and how they're related to one another. So our table below here that we're gonna look at looks at boys and girls who prefer to play soccer or to dance. So two new vocab words we are gonna learn are marginal frequencies, and these are the margins, which makes sense, right? Because that word is inside of the vocab word. And these are the outer edges that represent the totals for each row or column. And remember, rows go left and right, columns go up and down. Joint frequencies, these are the intersections or the inner boxes of information that represents where two pieces of information cross paths. So what we're gonna do is with green and blue, so if you don't have colored pencils, maybe get some. Green and blue represents the different frequencies. So green is going to be joint frequencies and blue is going to be the marginal frequencies. So joint frequencies are the inner boxes. So girls who like soccer, boys who like soccer, girls who like dance, boys who like dance. The marginal frequencies I'm going to do in blue. So 54 represents everybody who likes soccer, 52 represents everybody who likes to dance, 106 is everybody in general, 60 represents how many girls there are, and 46 represents how many boys there are or who were interviewed. Now, if you take a notice here, each column adds to get to the totals on the bottom. 14 plus 46 is 60. 40 plus 6 is 46. 54 plus 52 is 106. Each row also adds to get the totals on the right side here. So 14 and 40 is 54. 46 and 6 is 52. 60 and 46 equals 106. So everything adds together. So now what we're going to do is how many girls play soccer. So we have girls who play soccer. So in my table, soccer and girls cross paths at this 14. How many boys like to dance? So we have boys and dance. This crosses at the number 6. And see how I'm underlining information that represents in my table here? That's how you know where to look for your information. How many girls were interviewed? It only asks about girls. It doesn't ask specifically. So that means we're looking at the total for girls. So we're looking at this 60. Okay, only one thing was asked about. So you're looking for the total of that row or column. All right, this one is how many students like to dance. Okay, so just dance was asked about, so I'm looking at the total for dance, and that is 52. All right, next up we have how many students play soccer. So it's just asking about soccer, not specifically girls or boys. So soccer's total is 54. This one says how many students were interviewed. So this doesn't specify anything. It's a general blank statement. So this is what I like to call the super total. It's a super blank statement. So a super total is this guy right here. And our super total is 106. So whenever it's not specific in any way, shape, or form, it's talking about the super total. And the super total is always this bottom right corner. I love these types of questions. How many more girls dance than boys? All right, so here's dance. There are 46 girls who like to dance and 6 boys. So I'm gonna subtract those. So 40 more girls like to dance than boys. How many more students like soccer than dance? And you know, I should probably underline all this stuff too. All right, so more students like soccer than dance. Okay, so students that like soccer is 54, students who like dance is 52. So what I wanna do is 54 minus 52. So 2 more students like soccer than dance. Okay, now let's move on to number 20. Look for number 20. So now we're gonna fill in the information. So there are 130 students in Miss R's class. This does not specify Sprite, Coke, ladies, or gentlemen. Doesn't specify, so that is a super total. 55 students like Sprite while the remainder like Coke. So 55 students like Sprite. That's specific to just Sprite. It doesn't say ladies or gentlemen, so that's going to be a total for Sprite. 13 ladies like Sprite. So we got ladies and Sprite. So ladies and Sprite is this corner here, so that's where my 13 is going to go. 42 gentlemen like Coke. So gentlemen and Coke, and this is Coca-Cola, is 42. That's all the information they gave us. So from here, we have to figure out what the rest is. So we know that if I add this and this, it'll make 55. So what number plus 13 makes 55? You can use your calculator. You can take that total 55 and subtract the 13 to get 42. And if you double check, you can do 13 plus 42 to make sure it does equal that 55, and it does, so we're good. Next up, okay, so I don't have enough information here to do anything because you need at least 2 pieces of information in order to fill out empty spots. This one has 2 pieces of information, so we can fill out this empty spot here. So I can do 42 plus 42 because it's going to equal this total, and that's 84. I know that one off the top of my head. Next up, okay, so this row here, we have 2 pieces of information, so I can do 55 plus something would equal me 130. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the reverse. I'm going to take that super total 130 and subtract 55, and that gives me 75. So what I can do from here is double check my work. So 75 plus 55 does equal 130, so we did a good job. All right, now I can look at my columns here, and I see 2 pieces of information, and I'm missing this top piece. So I know this plus this is going to equal 75. So what I can do is the reverse. I can do 75 minus 42, and that gives me 33. And then if I double check my work, because I want to make sure I was right, I can do 33 plus 42. That gives me 75, so we were good. And then we have this last piece of information. Now, you can either do 130 minus 84, but I'm going to take the easier route of adding. I can do 13 and 33, which gives me 46, okay? Now, I want to make sure that everything's good. So I have to check that 46 plus 84 is equal to 130. That's good, so we're good here. And then I want to check 55 and 75 makes 130. That's good. So I didn't make any boo-boos. Now let's answer some questions. So how many students like Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola is the only thing we're talking about, so we're looking at the total here, and that is 75. How many gentlemen like Sprite? So I got gentlemen and Sprite, and that's 42. How many girls like Coca-Cola? All right, so I got ladies, Coca-Cola, 33. How many people were asked about Sprite and Coke? Oh, this is a fun question. So Sprite and Coke. Well, we got Sprite and Coke added together is 130. So this was a fun way of asking about the super total here. They were asked about both, and remember means you should add. How many gentlemen were interviewed? So we're just talking about gentlemen, so we're looking at the total for gentlemen, and the total for gentlemen is 84. How many ladies were interviewed? So again, we're talking about just ladies, so we want to look at the total, and the total for that is 46. All right, how many more gentlemen like Sprite over the ladies? Well, okay, so here's Sprite, 42 gentlemen like Sprite, 13 ladies like Sprite. So if I subtract those things, so I got 42 minus 13, it's 29. So 29 more guys like Sprite. How many more, oh, I got a more question. How many more gentlemen were interviewed than ladies? Okay, so we have 46 ladies and 84 gentlemen. So I gotta do 84 minus 46 in my calculator. And that's 38, so we get 38. Okay, that's the end of this video. If you have any more questions, ask your teacher.